What's up, everyone? Welcome to This Day in Philly Sports History for April 17th, 2023. We are back in the home studio. It was a fun weekend, but it feels good to be back with a charged computer, a microphone that works, and everything else we need. But still was a good time. Big Sixers game tonight, looking to go up 2-0 on the Nets. Hopefully, it's just a continuation of what we saw last game. I look for Joe to have a bigger game. He usually doesn't get held down and shut down 2 games in a row like that. Granted, he still had a decent game, but I need that bench to continue to do what it was doing. I need Doc to continue to do his thing and continue to make the rotations. But, I mean, we need B-Ball Paul to play the way he was. We need the shooting to continue. I don't necessarily think they're going to come out and shoot another team record for threes in a game. However, that they live and die by the three. So as long as they're hitting the threes, playing good defense, like we said on Back to the Future, if you haven't listened to it already, go check it out. I don't necessarily see this being a very competitive series at all. I think the Sixers come out and we're going to see way more of the same tonight. And then probably go back to Brooklyn, and I don't even know if we're going to come back to Philly. But Sixers tonight, looking forward to that. Well, Phillies, as bad as the game was on Saturday night, that was the complete opposite of this game. They came out, scored 9 runs in the first inning. Stott tied a team record with his 16th straight game with a hit to open the season, tying Willie Puddinghead Jones from the 1950 team. Looked it up just to see because I felt like just the way I was like, I don't want to say something that might have a negative connotation or not be appropriate in this day and age. But Puddinghead apparently was based on a movie, and it's about just calling somebody dumb. So again, that was his nickname. I'm not trying to get in trouble for anything, but Willie Jones, nicknamed Puddinghead, in 1950 for the Phillies, hit safely in 16 games to start the season. Stott looks tonight against the White Sox to make that 17. But I mean, it was just a good game. 14-3, and just they never looked back after that first inning. 23 hits. Nola gave up 2 earned runs in 6 innings. Good to see him somewhat be almost back, and maybe it's just the World Series hangover. Maybe once we get to the end of this month and start going into May, they'll start turning it around. It's still plenty early enough that they're not completely out of anything yet. It's still too early to look at standings, but if they continue to do that, Real Muto hit a home run. It's good to see him sort of snap out of what he was. Turner went 3 for 3 with 2 walks. Marsh has been lights out this year as well. I feel as though because of how good Stott's been doing, Marsh is quietly having a good start to his season. He went 4 for 6. Just an overall, all-around good day for the Phils. Let's keep it rolling in Chicago tonight. And I do want to see Stott get that hit streak, just because I think it's something cool. But I love him in the leadoff spot right now. So let's keep it rolling. Finally got my first tub of Graham Slam ice cream last night, or the other night from the store. Had some last night, and it did not disappoint. They're not paying me to say that. It's actually very delicious. But Turkey Hill, if you want to pay me, you're out there listening, I'm not going to turn it down. I like Grand Slam. There's a couple other flavors you guys have that I like if you want me to promote. And I mean, money would be nice, but I will get paid in ice cream if you want. So give me a call, Turkey Hill. All right, so tonight we're going to go back to 1976. We're going to stick with the Phillies' offensive outburst theme. And on March 17th, 1976, the Phillies, after being down 12-1 to the Cubs after 3 innings, battled back to win the game 18-16 in 10 innings out at Wrigley Field. It was a windy day, so the ball was flying. I feel like the ball always flies out of there anyway, but in this game in particular, Mike Schmidt hit 4 home runs in 1 game, becoming the 3rd Philly to do that. Ed Delhaney did it in 1896. Chuck Klein did it in 1936. And then Mike Schmidt did it in 1976. So every 40 years. Too bad nobody did it in 2016. And yes, I had to think about the math there real quick. But ironically enough, 3 Phillies have done it. No other team, with the exception of the Dodgers, has had more than one team do it. So I thought that was kind of an interesting stat. But in that game, Mike Schmidt went 5 for 6 with 4 home runs, 8 RBI. Jay Johnstone went 4 for 5. Bob Boone 3 for 6. Now that 1976 team, they just got off to that hot start, and they ended up winning 101 games that year. It was the first time they had been to the postseason since 1950. They won the division, but then they ended up getting swept by the Reds, the Big Red Machine, 3-0 in the NLCS. I think it was, no, I guess it would have been 5-0. Or no, the best of 5 series, so it would have been 3-0. Either way, they got swept by the Big Red Machine, who had a guy named Pete Rose on his team, who 4 years later would come over and play with the Phillies in order to get them over the hump. This is not the last time either. The Phillies had a ridiculously high-scoring game in Chicago at Wrigley Field in the 70s. We'll get into that next month. But on this day, back in 1976, Mike Schmidt hit 4 home runs in one game in a Phillies 18-16 10-inning win over the Cubs out in Wrigley Field. All right, shifting gears a little bit, Eagles draft pick spotlight. The draft is in 10 days. Working on something special for that for Back to the Future. Details as soon as I have them. But today we're going to spotlight J.R. Reed, the Tampa native out of South Florida, was the Eagles' fourth round pick, at number 129 overall. Excuse me, in 2004. He played for the Eagles 04 to 06. He was injured in a freak accident after the 2005 season, and I forget the story. I think he might have been. I don't think it ever did come out what he was doing, but he was running in the woods by his house and went to jump over a fence and sliced his perennial nerve. I think that's how you say it. Perennial. Either way, the nerve in your knee that basically controls the movement in your foot. Didn't think he was ever going to be able to come back. He came back with a special brace, battled through that preseason in 2006, but was cut. Never caught on. He had tryouts and cups of teas with the Giants, Falcons, and Rams. He did come back in 2007 for the Eagles as a punt returner. Had a muff in a game that led, and I know my brother will love this one, that led to the signing of Reno Mahe. Eventually, J.R. Reed just got cut after the 2008 season, played a couple seasons for the Jets, and got cut. And I feel as though he always had this potential. Like, he was very fast prior to the injury, and he always had this potential. And it wasn't even so much as a defensive back. It was more as like a kick and punt returner. Unfortunately, because of the injury, and again, I forget whether he was hunting or there was something. He was doing something like, I want to say it was hunting, like wild boar. Like, I don't know why that's sticking out in my head. I don't even know if they have wild boars in Florida. But either way, devastating injury for him, just never got back on track. He's the interception leader at South Florida still to this day. But J.R. Reed, fourth round pick, number 129 overall out of South Florida, played for the Eagles from 04 to 06 and then 07 and 08. Just wasted potential due to a freak and unfortunate injury. Phils look to keep the offense rolling tonight. Sixers look to keep their offense rolling tonight against the Nets. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. I'm Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Monday, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.